Hey, what's up guys? Sean here with Apollo. One of the basic repairs you should know how to do to maintain your scooter is how to change a flat tire. So today I'm going to show you how to do that on an Apollo Explorer. For demonstration purposes, I am doing it on the rear tire, but the process is essentially the same if not simpler for the front. So let's get started and I'll show you how it's done. So the first thing to do is pry back the bracket holding the motor cable wire in place. This will make it easier when removing the wheel hub later. Once you have freed the motor cable, you can then remove the nut on each side of the wheel. You will notice the washers underneath have a special notch on them that help keep the wheel hub in place in case the nuts are not tightened properly. It's very important you put these washers back on when you finish replacing the tire. After removing those washers, you should be able to simply slide the entire wheel hub off, being careful not to lose the extra washers on the inside of the suspension arms. Most scooters will have 2 extra washers on the brake disc side and 1 extra washer on the other. Be sure to put them back on in the same order when you finish replacing your tire. Next, you're going to remove the brake disc being held in place with these 5 screws. Now be careful not to strip the screws as they might have Loctite on them. So be sure to press down with enough force to turn the screws without accidentally stripping them. Then do the same thing for the 6 screws holding the 2 parts of the rim together. Once all the screws are out, you can push down on the valve stem, which will make it easier to pull the rims apart. The rims should split open after this, although you may need to help it by pushing in on the center. From there, you'll see both sides of the rims, and you can simply remove both parts and the inner tube from the tire. Now when inserting your new inner tube, you may want to install some tire sealant to prevent new punctures from happening in the future. If you purchase tire sealant from us, we will have included a little valve core removal tool which you can use to pour the tire sealant directly into the inner tube. We recommend using 2 to 3 ounces per tube. After adding in your tire sealant, insert the valve core again and inflate the tube with just a little bit of air. Now you don't need very much, just enough so that it holds its shape and prevents it from being pinched between the 2 rims. Alright guys, so we're almost done and it's time to put everything back together. Now it's important to ensure the rims are mounted back on the correct side of the tire. There will be an arrow printed on the side of the tire showing which direction it's supposed to be spinning in, and you can confirm this by double checking which way the treads on the tire run. From here, you're going to carefully insert the valve for the inner tube back into the notch in the rim and hold the 2 sides together. Now we recommend reapplying a little bit of blue Loctite to each screw, unless you have bought some new ones from us, in which case it should already be applied. From there, you can tighten the screws in a star pattern to ensure the 2 sides are mounted flush and sitting properly. Once the rims are back together and fully tightened, you can add the brake disc back on, again being sure to respect the direction arrow printed on one side. Be sure that the arrow follows the same direction as on the tire. Again, add a little bit of Loctite to each screw and tighten in a star pattern. Now it's time to put the washers back on your wheel hub and mount it again on your scooter. Now this part might be a little bit tricky and you may need a second pair of hands for this, although with a little bit of practice, you might be able to do it yourself. You will need to pry the suspension arms open a little bit in order to fit the wheel hub and washers back inside, and you will also notice the bolt is not perfectly rounded, so will fit on only one way. Finally, re-secure the notched washers and nuts, again adding a little bit of blue Loctite to help keep them in place. From there, you're going to return the motor cable wire back to its bracket, and voila, you've changed your first flat tire. Thanks for watching guys, and we hope this video has been helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us directly at apolloscooters.co, and we hope you have a safe ride.